read 31 books this year, and here's what I rated them and all my thoughts about them. My name is Brooke, and I thought this would be a great video to start my channel off with, to show you kind of what books I'm liking, what books I don't like, to see if we have similar interests. So I started off this year by reading November 9th by Colleen Hoover. I gave this a 3 stars. It was really fast-paced, it was easy to get into, and the couple was kind of cute. I just didn't love the storyline. I read Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. I gave this one a 5 stars. I loved this book. The romance was so good. I loved it was a slow burn kind of too. And it was so fun to read, and it was really easy to get into as well. Next, I read A Light in the Flame by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the second in a series of the Flesh and Fire series, which is kind of a spin-off series from the Blood and Ash series. I gave this a 5 stars. I love both of these series so much, and it just kept getting deeper into the story and the romance, and it was so good. Next, I read Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She has become one of my favorite authors this year for sure. I gave this a 5 stars as well. Loved the book, loved the show, loved the band. I love how it was interview style. It was super fast paced, and it was just a really fun read overall. Then I read The Score by Elle Kennedy, which is the 3rd book in the Off-Campus series. I've actually only read The Deal and The Score. I also gave The Score a 5 stars. I really loved Dean and Allie and their relationship. I just thought they were so cute. I don't know, I had such a good time reading this one. Then I read We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I gave this a 4 stars. I thought this was super fast-paced. It was my first kind of thriller read ever. I just thought it was really fun. I did not expect the plot twist at all, but it was super fun. Highly recommend. Next, I read From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata. I gave this one a 3 stars. I know this is a very, very loved book. I didn't love it that much. I didn't like all the comments and nicknames he kind of was giving her from the start. As the relationship went on, though, I did end up really loving, and I loved the whole ice skating part. I thought that was so fun to get into that world. I read the Magnolia Park series. This has become my favorite book series ever, my favorite books I've ever read. I'm obsessed with them. So starting off with Magnolia Parks, the first book, I gave this one 5 stars. I love Gossip Girl, and it is very similar to Gossip Girl. I love the found family aspect. I love learning about rich socialites, and this was so fun that it was set in London. I love Magnolia and BJ so much. I'm just obsessed with this world completely. Next, on to Daisy Hates. Again, also a 5 star for me. I love Daisy, Christian, and I love Julian so much. Everyone loves Julian though. But I thought Daisy and Christian were so cute. I also love the kind of drug lord gang vibes in this too. I think that was kind of fun to switch it up and not just read 2 books about rich socialites. I think that was a fun addition to have into the series. Then I read Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home, another 5 star. This one is for sure my favorite though. I annotated this one. I obsessed, in love. This one is so necessary. If you weren't in love with the first book, but you still were kind of okay with it, I definitely recommend reading The Long Way Home. It explains so much. I love it so much, but it's also so heartbreaking. And then I read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. Also fully annotated this book, another 5 star. I honestly can't pick between The Long Way Home and The Great Undoing for my favorite in the series. Loved this one so much. I love Julian so much. You learn so much more about him in this book, and I think that's so fun. And Daisy and Christian are just so sweet and so cute. Again, it was another heartbreaking ending, but I can't wait for the next Magnolia Parks Into the Dark. I'm so excited, and if you have ever thought about it, please give this series a chance. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Next, I read The Right Move by Liz Tomford. I gave this a 4.5 stars. I thought their romance was so sweet. Their relationship was so sweet. I love how you notice little things about her the whole time. Ryan was just such a great book boyfriend for sure, and him and Indy, their relationship, it was so cute. And next I read The American Roommate Experiment by Elena Armas. I read The Spanish Love Deception by her last year, and I loved that book. This one I ended up giving a 3 stars. I thought I was gonna love this one even more. I can't exactly put my finger on it, but it was a little slow in some parts, maybe a little fast in some parts. I loved the relationship. I thought they were super cute. I thought it was fun. It just, for some reason, just wasn't a favorite for me this year, and I really thought I was going to love this one, but I still recommend it if you're loving a cute little romance set in New York City. Next, I read Throttled by Lauren Asher. I gave this one a 4.75 stars. I loved this so much. I loved the whole F1 race car storyline to it too. I thought that was really interesting. I thought they were super cute together. I thought it was super fun. I loved their banter. I read Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. I also gave this one a 5 stars. I thought Alex and Henry were so cute. I loved the kind of enemies to lovers it took. I loved their banter. I loved their just communication of it was so fun. I also really enjoyed the movie. I liked the way that the movie kind of portrayed their texts and their emails to each other, because I was kind of worried how that was going to be perceived, but I thought that was so fun. I know, it just was so cute. I don't know, I love seeing the relationship and how much they really, really, really cared for each other and their jobs. Next, I read The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. I gave this a 4.5 stars. I thought it was fun, fast-paced. I loved the assassin game that was going on. I love the setting of Martha's Vineyard. I think this is the perfect summer read, perfect summer beach read. Really highly recommend it. Super quick pace too. Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I gave this a 5 stars as well. I loved this book. I don't know, I think I just read this in a time where I feel like I really related to Carrie and her just ways of achieving goals and kind of never feeling like if she wasn't the best then it wasn't successful in any way, shape, or form. And I feel like I really kind of needed the message that this book sent at the time that I read it. I don't know much about tennis, I don't know anything, but I feel like I could tell you everything that happens in a tennis match now from reading this, and I didn't even feel like I was reading rules to a game or anything. They threw it in so nonchalantly. I loved Carrie, I loved the story, I loved just the message that came with it as well. Also a super fun summer read. I read The Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So starting off with The Naturals, I gave this one a 4 stars. I loved how fast-paced these are. The short chapters, 4 stars, because it starts off kind of slow. I mean, you're learning about the characters, kind of how their FBI works. I definitely recommend it if you love Criminal Minds, because it's Criminal Minds but teenagers and young adults. I think it's just such an easy series to read, and this one was really good. I loved the kind of case that was going on. I annotated as I went along to kind of pick up little clues and hints I thought were stuff sometimes, but I loved the big plot twist at the end for sure too. Then we have Killer Instinct. I gave this one a 5 star. I really, really enjoyed Killer Instinct. I thought this was so fun with all the characters. I love Dean. I think they're just so cute together, Dean and Cassie. And I love the found family aspect. You get more of that, I feel like, even in this book. Again, tabbed for kind of all the little clues I thought I might have found. The case in this was also super fun, super fast paced. And I love how everything in these stories kind of line up to make up the last book. I read All In, also 5 star. This is my favorite one in the series for sure. You get more of Sloane in this book, and I really, really love Sloane. I feel like you get a little bit more of Leah too, and Leah's probably my favorite character in the series, so I love getting a little bit more of her in this as well. I don't know, again, super fast paced, super easy to get into. The found family is so good. The case in this one's really good. It has a lot to deal with Sloane, and I think that's so fun to learn so much more about Sloane and her family and everything about it. Highly, highly recommend. Then we finish off the series with Bad Blood. Again, I annotated all of them for like little clues and stuff. I gave this one a 5 stars as well. I didn't love the little epilogue at the end. I think it was really cute, but I guess I kind of just expected them to go a different direction than it did. But you'll get even more about Leah in this book. And again, Leah is probably my favorite character, so I really, really loved learning more about her. And this book it wrapped up so nicely with this book at the end. And this is the longest of the series, but it flew by so fast. So great, such a great series. Please, please read, especially if you love Criminal Minds. Then I read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I gave this a 4 stars. I didn't love this as much as I loved the Hunger Games books. I still thought it was super enjoyable. Learning Snow's past. I personally never found a good moment in him. Every good moment was kind of underlined by something bad he'd say in his inner monologue later on. It was so cool to learn about his past, and I love learning more about Tigress. And I really loved learning about Lucy Gray and her whole family, and Sejanus I thought was so fun to learn about as well too. I really enjoyed his character. I also think it just kind of wrapped up the Hunger Games really nicely. I think there's room if she wanted to write more books on different characters, she could, but I think it was a good ending overall, and I like that it was kind of interpreted up to your own and how you interpreted Lucy Gray as her character. I read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. I gave this a 4 stars. I think the first probably 20% of this book I wasn't in love with. I didn't like the comments he kind of made, and especially the comments his friends made. I wasn't a huge fan of that either. And it felt sometimes a little weird between them. But as it went on, I really, really loved their connection and just how this cover ties in the whole story. I think it was really sweet, and I don't know, I think their relationship ended up really cute, and he had a lot of growth really fast in this book, and I really appreciated that as well. I read the Crowns of Nyaxia series by Carissa Broadbent. I gave both of them a 4 stars. I thought they were really fun, and I loved getting into fantasy this year. And I only read one other fantasy book so far this year, so this was a really fun kind of change of pace from all the romance I had been reading. Actually, if you enjoyed the Hunger Games and the games part of it a lot, it's Hunger Games but with vampires and one human contender as well. It was super fast-paced, super easy to get into, especially if you're new to reading fantasy. I felt like there wasn't too much world building. It kind of all spread itself out throughout the book instead of right at the beginning learning about everything. I liked the way that it kind of came in and out of the story when you needed it. I read Never by Jessa Hastings. This was probably my most anticipated book of the year. It is a Peter Pan retelling. I gave this a 3.5 stars. I didn't love Daphne, the main character, that much. She really upset me of her thoughts. I know people didn't enjoy Peter. I didn't enjoy him either, but I do think the way he was written was perfect, how he was. Peter's very childish, especially even in just the Disney cartoon version. He's kind of selfish, he's kind of childish. She's always been that way. So I think him staying that way in this book made a lot of sense to me, and I think his character was written really well. But I didn't love Daphne and how she went back and forth on everything so many times, and how she'd forgive Peter but not forgive other characters. I don't know. But I really love Jameson Hook as well. I think he was a super interesting character to learn about, and how he's very different from Captain Hook, and how his relationship is with Peter and the Lost Boys and the people of the town, and you get more of a perspective of how everyone's treated there and how the Lost Boys and Peter Pan really, really work. And I really enjoyed that aspect of this. Next, I read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I was not excited about reading this book. I don't really love dragons. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it, but I loved this book. 5 stars, absolutely amazing, obsessed. I've already ordered a t-shirt for the book. I'm so in love with this series. I loved Xaden so much, and I loved him and Violet. I thought they were amazing together. I actually really enjoyed the dragons, and I thought I was not going to enjoy that at all, but I thought the dragons were so fun. I loved Taryn and Darna, and their just kind of banter they had, and Taryn Sigale. I thought it was so fun, and I loved how they all communicated with each other. I don't know, I think this was super interesting. I love the whole school aspect as well. I think that was fun to kind of see what challenges they went through, how they were trained. I think this was so, so fun. It was also super fast-paced for me personally, and if you've been holding off on this book, please read it. It's so good. Then I read Iron Flame, the second book in the series, and I also gave this one a 5 stars. I know people weren't in love with this book. I do agree, kind of. There was a lot of arguing when there kind of didn't have to be, and it was the same repetitive argument over and over and over again. But the feelings that this book gave me just, I don't know, it just was a 5 star. Their relationship, I still loved them. I still loved the characters. I still love Xaden. I loved Rhiannon. I love Riddick. His character is so funny. I still enjoyed the dragons and their banter. This was still a really fun read to me personally. All the feelings that it gave me were so intense, and I just haven't had this feeling since, like, Magnolia Parks. Like, I just didn't have that intense love for a book like this. Like, these were 6-star reads for me 100%. And no, I did not love the ending either. But I'm hoping we resolve that in the 3rd book. Again, if you've been holding off, please read it. It's just super enjoyable. Then I started ACOTAR. I was kind of wanting something else after Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, and there was no shows or movies that were kind of anything I was wanting. So I decided to pick up another series, so I finally pick up ACOTAR. This is the first book of Court of Thorns and Roses. I gave this one a 4 stars. I mean, he wasn't bad. There was nothing special about him. Like, he just kind of, he treated her fine, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. I think Feyre's a really great character as well. I think her story with her family and how she's treated and how she went into this world, and I think this was really interesting to read. But it was a 4 star, really fun. Then I read A Court of Mist and Fury. I gave this one a 4.5. Love this one so much more. I love Rhysand. I loved when his character and how he is with Feyre so much. I love their banter. I love the found family of Cassian and Azriel and Amren and more, and all of them together. I think it's just, their connection is so good and so like wholesome to kind of have. I loved how this had a good amount of romance, but it wasn't too much, but it also still had a good amount of action as well, and I think I really enjoyed that about this book. And then my final book of 2023 was A Court of Wings and Ruin. I gave this one a 4.75 stars. It still wasn't that 5-star for me, but this was for sure my favorite in the series so far. I loved this book. I loved the way we kind of resolved the whole situation from the beginning. I think the way we did it was really great. I think having Lucian kind of have a little redemption arc was nice, and I loved her sisters being more involved in this book. Again, this was a perfect balance of like romance and action for me. I think I was really, after Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, I really wanted some heavy action, and this book really for sure gave that to me. So that was all the books I've read in 2023. If you have any similar interest in the books I've read or books I didn't love as much, please subscribe and like this video. I will post every single week. Thank you guys for watching, and Happy New Year!